Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about feeling the love with the Country Floral Lane suite from the Stampin' Up! January to April mini catalog. Now this catalog just went live a couple weeks ago and there is so much to love. But I figured I had better feature some love products and projects to help us get ready for Valentine's Day, which is, well, a month away. Hard to believe. We just finished Christmas. Anyway, today I am all about, as I mentioned, the Country Floral Lane suite, and it is gorgeous. Beautiful DSPs, 2 different DSP packs, a fabulous stamp set and punch bundle, some awesome embellishments. So I've got 3 projects we're going to make today. I've got a whole bunch more to share with you, and we're going to get to it. Okay, so let me pull up my video here on my iPad so I can see who is joining me before I do the old flipperoo. Here we go. Hi, Krista. How are ya? I heard your hubby on the porch, so I think he grabbed your kit. So you should be good to go for Saturday. All right, so I am going to do the old flip, and we are going to get to it. I'm going to show you the products, and then we're going to get to some stamping, okay? So give me a sec. Make sure that is relatively scented. Slide this over just a smidge. There we go. All right. Okay, so here is the suite. It is the very first suite that is featured in the new mini catalog. It's a beautiful spread, but one thing I will say is I feel like the colors in the DSP especially are a little bit washed out in the catalog. You're going to notice that the colors are much more vibrant when I show you in just a minute. I'm going to show you the samples. So for example, this is actually, I don't even know what that is. That, like, there's not that pattern. I guess it's this pattern, but this looks really, really washed out. So I'm going to show you the actual patterns. They're much more vibrant than what is shown in the catalog. I think the color was a little off when they printed that one. So here we go. Here is the suite. So our sort of centerpiece of the suite is the Country Bouquet bundle. So we have a stamp set and punch bundle, which is awesome for those of us who don't have a die cutting machine. So many things we can do with this bundle. And so we have sort of solid images that coordinate with the punch. And then we have outline images that we can outline, so you can stamp these in different colors or different shades. We have a 2-step stamp here that allows us to stamp hearts and flowers, and then the greenery also in different colors, and then some fantastic sentiments that are not just for Valentine's Day. I love that we're friends. Just wanted to say whatever. So not just for Valentine's Day, and you're going to see the last card we're going to make, I took it in a totally different direction. So you'll see that in a few minutes. So that's the stamp set. Punch is awesome. As I said, coordinates with the stamp set. Then, I better not put that punch too far away because I'm going to need it. Then we have awesome accessories. So let's have a look at the DSP. So this is the Country Floral Lane DSP, as I mentioned. This is actually 12 by 12 DSP. I just have this cut down to make it a little bit easier to maneuver on the camera. But so, of course, it's all double-sided. So here, this is the pattern that you can punch with the punch. So this lines up perfectly in the punch, and you can punch 2 hearts and 2 leaves all at once. This is that pattern in the catalog that looked really, really washed out, that actually is quite a bit more vibrant in real life. We have this fantastic bicycle pattern. Love that one. I think this one is my favorite pattern. I love the contrast of the Petal Pink with the Mossy Meadow. And then we have these fabulous hearts. And then, of course, when we flip them over, we have some more subdued patterns. We've got the Petal Pink, Balmy Blue, and the Sweet Sorbet. Again, patterns that'll work for just about any occasion, not just for Valentine's Day. Love multi-purpose DSP. So that is the Country Floral Lane DSP. And then, of course, we have the Country Gingham DSP as well as part of this suite. And I got to say, this is quickly becoming my most used DSP pack because I love gingham and there's so many options. So we have the Petal Pink and not real red, Sweet Sorbet. But then when we flip them over, we've got Mint Macaron and Balmy Blue. So lots of options, all 4 colors in all 3 patterns. So there's 3 patterns, sort of the check, sort of diagonal, and then a small diagonal. Okay, so lots of options for the gingham lovers out there. That's the Country Gingham DSP. And then we have this awesome ribbon double pack. So we have this real red satin. It's about 1/4 inch, I believe, and ties up really easily. It's not a really stiff satin, so it ties quite easily. It will slip, however, so you want to be careful if you're going to glue your bow on. You want to make sure you get your glue dot on there so that the bow doesn't slip, because it's quite sheer, quite satiny and slippery. So that is that one. And then in the same pack, you get this awesome, it's meant to look like a burlap or linen, but it's actually very, very soft. It's not stiff like a burlap or linen. Ties really easily. You're going to see this in action on one of the cards we're going to make. And it's quite easy. It doesn't grab like burlap does when you're trying to adjust your loops. It's really, really quite lovely. But it has that look of burlap or linen. So very, very pretty ribbon. It comes in a 2-pack. You get both rolls. And then my favorite embellishments in the mini so far are these awesome pastel adhesive back sequins. So you get both sheets in the pack. It's 300 adhesive back sequins in the pack. You get a full sheet of large sequins and a full sheet of small in 3 colors. So we've got the blue, sort of the pink, and the gold. And the gold is kind of a brush gold. It's a little bit softer. It's not quite a bright brassy gold. It's quite soft, and I love them. I have gone through a couple of packs of these already. So those are the embellishments. So that is the suite. So let's get to making some projects. So let's see who else has come in since I've been yapping away here. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Violet. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome. Hi, Tracy. Oh, you got a new box of goodies. Oh, good timing. You got this sweet. So we are well timed. Hi, Deb. How are you? Okay, so first card we're going to make today is the one that I posted earlier this morning. Classic Valentine's card. This was the first actual Valentine's card I made with this suite, which is hard to believe, but there we go. I did a lot of other projects with this suite. So let's pull out our bits here. And I really wanted to showcase the DSP on this first card because the DSP is beautiful. So the only stamping on this card is my sentiment. Love it when I can do that. So we're going to set these aside. They're going to be for the inside. So to start, I have just a piece of basic white cardstock. It's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And then I have a piece of my favorite pattern of the DSP. It's hard to choose. These cute little hearts are adorable too, but I love this Mossy Meadow and Petal Pink pattern. So this is 3 by 5, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, 3 by 5. Okay, so it's 1/8 of an inch shorter than my white piece. So I'm going to glue this on so I have an equal border on 3 sides. I'm going to have a larger border over here. So we'll just take and throw that on. Hi, Holly. Welcome. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good week. All right. We're going to pop that on there. Hopefully that's straight. Okay. And then we're going to arrange our little hearts on our die cut circles. So these are die cut using the Stylish Shapes dies from the Gingham DSP. This is the Petal Pink. And then I fussy cut these little hearts from the Country Floral Lane DSP. They're not hard to fussy cut at all. So I'm just going to throw a dimensional on the back of each little heart here. And we're going to adhere them to our die cut circles. Now, the only thing you want to watch here is that you're centering your heart in your circle and that your lines, your pattern on your gingham is square, okay? So when you do one, you kind of want to make sure that they're all oriented the same way, okay? It's going to look odd when you put them on your card if all of your gingham is kind of going any which way. Okay, at least it will look odd to me. It'll bug me. That's just me. Maybe you like your gingham going in all sorts of directions, and that's totally okay. Okay, so there are my little hearts. And then we're going to stick these down onto our background panel. Now, it's a tight squeeze. So when I glue these on, I'm going to do the top and bottom ones first. And I'm kind of lining up the center of my heart with the edge of the DSP here. And that's going to help me get them straight. And you're going to see this one's just going to nestle in there with not much room to spare. Okay, it's a tight squeeze. So again, whenever I'm doing this kind of thing, I like to use liquid glue just because it does give me that extra little few seconds to get things positioned exactly where I want them. So we'll pop this one on. Oh, freezing rain. Wow, Holly. We had a little bit of freezing rain overnight tonight and this morning, but not too bad. I was actually quite glad that buses weren't canceled today because I had a rehearsal at 7 a.m. and I really need the rehearsal time. We're getting ready for a music festival. The first one that we're attending in 3 years. And we have a lot of work to do. So we need all the rehearsal time we can get. So we are okay. But Thursday's looking a little iffy again. So this here, ladies and gentlemen, is why we use liquid glue. I put that guy just a little bit too low and was having a hard time fitting my middle one in there. So we just want to take care to make sure that those are all going to fit. And this one's over to the left a little too far. There we go. Okay, so that is my background. Now that is going to get glued onto a Petal Pink card base. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And then we're going to pop this onto the front of our card. I'm going to use a little bit of seal here. Doesn't really matter, but you know me, I like my seal. So we're going to pop that on. And just center that, just checking to make sure I have equal borders all the way around. Okay, so there is my background. Now all I have left to do really is stamp my sentiment. So this label is from the Label to Glow die. So these are a carryover die set from the Holiday Mini. They are still available, even though the Holiday Mini has gone away. These dies are still around, and I'm very thankful because I love the length of this label. It's just long enough to fit a whole bunch of sentiments. So I'm going to stamp my Happy Valentine's Day in Sweet Sorbet ink on my little label here. And we're going to do it fairly centered and hopefully fairly straight. There we go. Okay. And then that is going to get popped up on the front of my card. It's going to kind of come in between the bottom two hearts there. Okay. So we're going to add a couple dimensionals. Actually, maybe we'll use the edge because this sheet is almost done. So we'll just take and put the edge on the back there. And we're going to pop that on, hopefully straight and hopefully centered on the front of our card. And then we're going to bring back that gorgeous ribbon and we're going to tie us a cute little bow. So I'm doing my bunny ears bow. So I'm making a loop with both in my right and left hands. I'm crossing my left over the right, bringing it around and through, and pulling. And then it's a matter of teasing out the size of bow that you want. So I'm going to make my loops really nice and small and then pull my knot tight and then adjust again and pull my knot tight. So the key to having a really cute bow is making sure your knot is nice and tight and your bows or your loops are even. Okay, so now I'm going to notch the ends of this, of my tails here. So I'm going to fold my ribbon in half and then I'm going to cut at an angle in towards the folds, and that gives me that little notched end, which is just a cute little detail. It's also a great way to keep your ribbon from fraying. If you have ribbon that tends to fray, having this little cut on the end, and that one's too long, so we're going to shorten it up. Having this little cut will help your ribbon not fray quite as badly. Okay, so there is our sweet little bow. So that is just going to get here just in that top left corner of our label. So we'll just take and press the nut into our glue dot, and then we're just going to pop that onto our label just like that, and then add a couple of iridescent pearls. I use the large ones. Oh, look at that. My blue goo is leaking. So I'm just going to add a couple of these guys here. I use the large ones just because this is quite a bold pattern and I wanted them to stand out a little bit from the background. Now I did actually cut, so this was the leftover inch that I cut off. So this background panel started out as 4 by 5, and then I just cut off that, or took that extra inch, and we're going to adhere that to a white panel and stick it inside our card, and that's going to be the inside of our card. And then we're not wasting anything, and our inside matches our outside. Now you can certainly add another sentiment. I'm not going to, because I want to be able to send this to just about anybody. So I'm not going to put something like I love you because, well, I don't necessarily love everybody I send a Valentine's Day card. I love lots of them, but not all of them. So I'm just going to leave it blank. Not that I don't love people, but just, you know, so it's not awkward. So we're going to go ahead and pop that inside our card. And there we go. There we have a matching inside with our outside, and it'll work for anybody. Okay, you like that one? Need better hands for both. Yes, Deb, it is a great layout. There's lots of things you can do with it. And again, it's a great way to showcase lots of DSP. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Number 1 done. Let's clean up the mess here. I think we're done with that. Let's pull in number 2. Okay, number 2 is this one. Now I posted this yesterday. Again, just a slightly different take. So this is a very similar idea. So in that we've got sort of DSP layered on cardstock, layered on a base. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'll show you what I did. Okay. So let's pull these out. Oh, I think I forgot my twine on this one. I might be in the other kit. Okay. So to start, I have a piece of mint macaron cardstock. Again, this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. It's going to be my background, but you'll notice it's plain and this is not. So we're going to do some stamping. So we're finally going to see the stamp set in action. I'm going to bring in my mint macaron ink pad and the little floral bouquet stamp, this little guy here. Okay, so we're going to do some stamping on this. Now I don't need to stamp the entire thing, but I want to make sure it looks like the whole thing is stamped. So I'm going to start in that top left corner that is going to be exposed because of the way I've cut my DSP. So I'm going to stamp this a few times here, just randomly. So the key to random stamping is what? Turning your stamp and also making sure that your images go off the edge of your cardstock. Now let's just look to see if that's, yeah, that's good. So then we just need to kind of go around the edges to give the illusion that the whole thing is stamped, because most of it's going to be covered. So we don't need to take the time to stamp the whole thing. We just need people to think we stamped the whole thing. So again, I'm just making sure this ink pad's getting a little on the dry side. Getting some very ombre looks here with my stamps because I'm hitting some dry spots on my pad. But that's all that's necessary because we're not going to see that part, right? All right, so let's set that aside. So here I have my DSP. So this is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. So same dimensions that this one started out at 4 by 5. But we are going to cut, so all I did is I measured 1.5 inches in on the top and 1 inch on the bottom. Okay, so imagine this is a full piece. So I measured in here and here, just marked it with a pencil, and then lined up my tick marks and chopped it. Okay, and that gives me that little sort of diagonal look. Again, just a different look. Sometimes it's nice to see a little bit of the background peeking through. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue here. And we'll pop that on. Just like that. So again, I just want to make sure I get this centered. Looks pretty good. Centered and straight. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere that to our card base, which is thick basic white, 4 1/4 by 11, same dimensions as the last card. Again, scored in the middle at 5.5. So we'll pop that on. Hi, Roz. You're here from Florida. Well, welcome. I could go for a little Florida sunshine right about now. We had a couple of days of sun on the weekend, but it was quite cold. But it has been gloom and clouds and rain pretty much since Christmas here. So, yep, I'm ready for a little sun and sand. Sadly, there are none in my future. So I'll just have to live vicariously through all my friends who are traveling or live south. Okay, so there we go. There is our background. So now we're going to work on our focal image. So I have here, this is the second largest circle die from the Stylish Shapes. I cut it from white, or cut white cardstock with it. And then I have to pull in my other ink pad here. So we're going to stamp, nope, we're only going to stamp in, I don't know what I'm thinking. We're going to stamp in mint macaron. And we're going to use, there's 2 different sort of foliage stamps. Let me pull in the stamp set again. So we're going to use both of these. So I'm going to do this one first, and we're going to do it stamped off, and then we're going to add this one full strength. So let's start with this. We're just going to kind of go around the circle. So I'm going to ink this up, stamp off, and then stamp on my circle. Ink, stamp off, stamp on, stamp off, stamp on. I'm not going to, woo! Good thing that landed the right way. That could have been a disaster. I'll add one more there. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in with my single branch here, and we're going to do these full strength, kind of in between. I'm not really worried about the fact that these are overlapping and looking ugly because that's all going to get hidden. So we'll just add a couple more of these. Just like that. Okay. And now we are going to stamp our labels. We're going to set that aside. I have here, this is just a 1 by 4 inch strip of white cardstock. And we're going to stamp our sentiment that says, I love that we are friends. And this could be for any time of year, not just Valentine's Day. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that. I'm going to stamp it toward, actually, no, I'm going to stamp it in the center. I'm stamping in basic gray. Okay, I just think that's a great neutral. It's a little bit softer than black. When we're using soft pastel colors like this. All right, now to create our decorative edge, we are going to use the new, what's it called? Happy Labels. Happy Labels. Who doesn't want a punch called Happy Labels? We're going to punch this. Now, I don't need all of this length, so I'm going to take and trim part of that with my snips. Okay. And then I'm going to slide this in. Now, this is a pick a punch, so you can create a label that's 1/2, 3/4, or 1 inch wide. And length, it can be as long or as short. Well, short, you don't want it to be so short that it won't fit in the punch. So you're kind of limited by the depth of the punch here. But I find it easiest to use this if I flip it over and I look to make sure that my piece is in straight. And then I punch. And I get that cute little decorative end. Isn't that fun? And then we're going to do the same thing on the other end. So we're going to slide this in. Again, I'm going to flip it over, make sure it's in there straight, and punch. Okay, so that gives me my label. It also leaves me some space to arrange my little hearts and leaves. So I've punched a whole bunch of the little hearts and leaves from the various patterns of the Country Gingham DSP. Okay, so we're going to start by adhering our heart to our label. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape here, and we'll pop that on. Right about there. Okay. And then our little small heart is going to be popped up. So we're going to add a mini dimensional as soon as I figure out where I put them. They're there. So I'll put that on there, just like that. Okay. And then we're going to add some leaves in behind. And yes, we can have blue leaves. I said so. They are a thing and they're allowed when we're being creative. So there we go. So I'm going to add a blue leaf down here and a green leaf. Is that going to stick? Oh yes, we have enough. That's good. And then we're going to add a blue leaf up here and a green leaf. And there we go. There's our little arrangement. Then that is going to get stuck down to our stamped circle here. And it just, the greenery in behind adds a nice little bit of texture behind our little arrangement. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little bit of seal on there. We're going to stick that on. Okay, and then that is going to get glued to the front of our card, just like that. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of adhesive. Oh, we're out of seal. Tombow to the rescue. So we'll pop this on here. I'm going to put this a little lower. Right about there. So my label's a bit longer on this one. I should have trimmed off a bit more, but that's okay. Oh, and I also forgot to stamp my little flowers there. So we can still do that. So this still has ink on it from when, actually I better be safe. And we'll re-ink. Okay, yes, bluegrass, blue leaves. Absolutely, Tracy, 100% agree. So I'm stamping off my little floral bouquet here, and I'm going to stamp that just in behind my sentiment there, just to add a little something something back there. Okay, and then the last little touch on this one is to add a bit of white baker's twine. I'm gonna grab it out of the other kit here. So we're just gonna tie a cute little bow So this is my hot tip for your baker's twine. I think I've shown this to you before, but in case you missed it, our baker's twine comes on these rolls, and once you start open the roll, the twine kind of unravels, and it's messy and annoying. So my solution is to take your snips. You're just going to cut a little slit in the cardboard roll, and then you use that. You kind of catch the end of your twine in that little slit, and it holds your twine, so it keeps it from unraveling. Okay, that's my little organization neat freak tip for you for today. It drives me crazy when I've got twine rolls sort of willy-nilly everywhere. Yep, I'm a little uptight that way. My family love that about me. And by love, I mean they really don't. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick our little bow right in the center of our little heart there. So I'm going to take my glue dots, and I'm going to roll a little glue booger. And I'm going to stick it down in the middle of my heart. And then I'm going to take and stick my my bow to the glue dots. And then we're going to trim our tails and call it a day. That's a little long. Let's trim that a bit shorter. There we go. There's our cute little card. You like that one? Now on the inside of this one, I had a little bit of this DSP left, so I just added a strip with the bicycles because I think they're so cute on the inside. That also means I have less to write, right? Less to write is a good thing sometimes. All right, so there we go. That's number 2. You guys like that one? I hope you do. And then let me just put the cap on my glue. Get that out of the way. And we're going to move on to number 3. So number 3, I decided to go in a totally different direction. This is... It looks like a Valentine's card, but actually it's a baby card because I thought this was a great pattern for a baby card. I thought it was just so cute. And I thought the little hearts could be like mom and dad and babies or, sister, brother, baby, whatever. I thought it was cute. So that's how my brain works. I kind of think odd things. But there we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this one. Let me get all my bits out. Whole lot more Stampin', well, not a whole lot more, a little bit more Stampin' on this one. All right. So we're going to start, let's put together our background first. So we're going to start with a piece of the DSP that is 4 by 5¼ inches. This is the same pattern, so we're using sort of both sides of the same DSP pattern. Did I mention it's my favorite? So I basically just took my strip, cut 5¼ and a 3-inch. Okay. So this one's 4 by 5¼ This one is 4 by 3. So we're going to start by layering those two pieces. This is going to go across the center. So let's add a little glue and center that on there. Now, again, I should probably use my grid lines just to make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay. And then I have a piece of the new textured shimmer paper. Now this paper is fabulous. I'm actually going to show you, after I'm done, I'm going to show you a project where I actually use the blending brushes to color the white shimmer paper, and you get this beautiful ombre effect. But this is the white. It comes in a pack with 3 colors. So there's the white, the shaded spruce, and balmy blue. You get 2 12 by 12 sheets. And it is so pretty. It's kind of a pearlized shimmer, and then it's got like this corrugated texture. So that is going to get glued across the center of our card. So again, we'll add a little bit of glue on here and glue that. I forgot to give you the dimensions. I think this is 1 1/4 or 1 1/2. I think it's 1 1/2 actually. That's too low. Let's move that up a smidge. That's better. So this is one, oh! Got a little carried away with my adjusting. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so it's 1 1/2 by 4, I think. Yeah, 1 1/2? Yes. Wow, reading rulers is a challenge today, apparently. Okay, now we're also going to add a little bit of this Petal Pink, what's this called? Soft polyester ribbon. It's kind of like a faux, almost like a faux suede ribbon. This is in the annual catalog, and I can honestly say I hadn't used this until this card. I was looking for something Petal Pink, and this is all we had that's Petal Pink. Now, this ribbon is quite thick and does not make nice bows. I will tie a bow, and you'll see what I mean. It's quite hard to tie. You get quite bulky bows, okay? You can get a cute one, but like there's no way that's going through the mail, right? That's a really thick knot. It's quite a bulky bow. So it works really well for an extra bit of texture and an extra element on your cards, but not so much for bows. Okay, so we're just going to take a bit of this and I'm going to trim this off the roll, and we're just going to adhere this along the bottom edge of our shimmer paper there. So I'm just going to grab a glue dot on each end, and then we're going to lay this across, and it's just going to kind of wrap around the back like that. Okay, really simple. Now that is going to get glued onto our card base. Yep, same dimensions as the other two cards. So we're all vertical today, portrait I should say. So 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we'll crisp that up. Oh, Laura, you're here. You made it. Excellent. You can always go back and watch the replay later for what you missed, right? Now, before I do that, I don't want to forget my mint macaron layer. I almost did. Too much talking. You need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. All right, so we're going to add our mint macaron layer behind our DSP, and then it's going to go on our card base. It makes a big difference having that little bit of contrast. It really does. I originally designed this without the mint macaron, and I was like, nope, don't like it. So we added it. I was much happier. So we'll pop this on. Just like that. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to play with our focal image. So we'll set this aside. And I'm going to bring in an oval. This is cut using, what are they called? It's the Fabulous Frames. That's what it is. It's in the mini, but it was part of the pre-release in November and December, I guess. And it cuts all sorts of different ovals. So this is one nice big oval. And this time we are going to stamp using 2 colors. So I'm going to start with the mint macaron with my sort of multi-branched foliage here. So I'm going to stamp this several times on my oval here. Similar to what we did on the last card, we're just adding sort of a foliage backdrop for our little heart arrangement here. We'll do one more. No, we'll do one more down here. That's what we'll do. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with some Mossy Meadow to pull, the Mossy Meadow out of the DSP. So, and for that, I'm going to use my single branch. And because this is quite dark, I'm going to stamp off. I want it to be a little bit more subtle than it would be if I did it full strength. So ink and stamp off. So even though this is a really dark shade of green, it works on this card because I'm using it stamped off. So it's kind of, we call it second generation ink, and it just makes it a little bit softer. All right, so there is our background. Now we're going to arrange our cute little hearts. Again, these are all just punched from the DSP. And we're just going to arrange them the way we want them. So I'm going to start with my 2 largest hearts. They're going to get popped. So let's start with, where's my dimensional? There. We'll start with the big ones first. Look at that. I had just enough to do my big hearts. And we'll add a mini at the bottom. So we'll start with this guy. So it's going to go on kind of right about there. And I love the shape of these hearts. I love that they're not perfectly symmetrical. Oops. Oh, I put my dimensionals on the wrong side, you guys. Will they peel off? Let's see. Whew, that one did. Let's see about this one. Oh, 2 for 2. Will this one? Please, Minnie, don't be the one that... Ha! Saved it. I saved it, you guys. Look at that. All right, there we go. All right, now we are going to go ahead and pop these 2 little guys sort of in behind, but they're not going to get popped up. They're just going to get glued flat. So just a little smidge of liquid glue here. And we'll, whoopsie, tuck this guy in here. And we're going to tuck this guy in behind here. See, all of my people can appreciate when you save something, when you save a screw up. Yes, it's always a good thing when you can not have to start over. All right, so that is going to go onto our card popped up. Okay, so again, I'm going to use the edges of my dimensional sheet. Don't ever, ever throw away your edges. They're perfectly good adhesive, and they make it really easy to cover a large area with dimensionals. So they're great for popping up like whole layers. So we'll get rid of our backings here, and we're going to pop that on, centered on our card. Okay, now we're going to add a little bow with some baker's twine here just down in the corner, just because I wanted a little bit of a bow. Babies and bows go hand in hand, in my opinion. I don't know why. They just do. And so I had to add a bow, but I wasn't going to do a bulky bow with this pink stuff. So baker's twine it is. So I'm going to just grab the end of my twine here. If it decides to cooperate, come on. Slide it under. And I'm just going to trim this off my roll, make it easier to work with. So I'm going to tie my knot. I'm going to actually tie a double knot to hold this nice and tight before I do my bow. So I'm going to get it right in close to my oval there. And this is where you need an extra hand. So I'm going to hold that knot nice and tight with my pinky while I tie my second knot. Okay, and then I can tie my bow. And that way that'll hold nice and tight and gather that, that thick ribbon. So there we go. And we'll just adjust our loops till we get a cute little bow. Okay, and let's make that a little bit smaller, still a little on the big side. We'll trim off our tails. Okay, and now we need to do our sentiment. So this little bitty piece is actually a die cut. It's cut from the new Fragrant Flowers dies. And it's the perfect size for my little With Love. And I actually cut two, so I had a backup just in case I screwed up. Where is my With Love? There it is. All right, so let's grab our Mossy Meadow. And we're going to go ahead and ink that up. And I'm going to have to pull this close to me, guys, so I can get this centered, because there's not a ton of room for error on this one. So I hope you're not looking at the back of my gray-haired head. There we go. And that is going to get popped up. I'm just going to add a couple of minis on here. So 1 and 2. I'm not going to put it right at the end because it's going to layer over top of my little heart there. So that is going to go right about there. Okay. And then we're going to add a few more pearls. So this is an almost finished sheet, and I'm using the little bitty ones. So the last card I used the large ones. This time I'm using the bitty ones. And there we go. Isn't that cute? Now on the, I'm not going to take the time to do the inside for right now, but this sentiment is from the, what's it called? Something Happy. It's from the annual. It's the one with the bear. Okay, it's a little Hello Baby. And then I just added some more punched hearts and a little bit more foliage to tie the front in with the inside. Okay, so there you go. Baby card idea with a Valentine set. Gotta love it, right? Okay, so let me bring back the other two projects, and then I'm going to show you a couple more. So, this is the one that we made in my live launch party. Again, using the same suite. Here is another one. So this is the one I was talking about. Remember how I said I used my blending brushes on the shimmer paper? So this I brushed on Sweet Sorbet and got this gorgeous shimmery ombre effect. So cool. You'll be seeing more of that coming. Here are a couple of swaps I received. So that is a super cute one. Here's one that uses that two-step heart floral stamp. So you can see that the flowers and hearts are stamped in the Sweet Sorbet, and then the leaves are stamped in the Mossy Meadow. Here's another one that features the DSP. Okay, really fun layout. Great way to showcase the different patterns in the DSP. This is a little sneak peek. So if you are attending my bingo event on Saturday, maybe close your eyes for a sec. I don't want you to have the surprise ruined, but this is one of the make and takes that we're doing at my bingo. Again, just featuring that suite. And then this one, I wanted to challenge myself to create a masculine Valentine's card with this suite because, well, I have men in my life. I have my son and my husband. And so I came up with this one. So this is, it's pretty manly, lots of wood grain, no bows, metallic accents. I think I hit the manly nail on the head. So I'm actually doing a reel. This will post on Thursday, I hope, if I have time to edit it. I have a really busy week, but my plan is to have this up on Thursday that shows how to make this fun, masculine Valentine's card. Okay? All right, everybody. Have an awesome week. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you again next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.